We've rarely seen quirky, mind-bending sci-fi shows like Rick and Morty, so we're really psyched that it's getting a 7th season, and possibly more. When you've got interdimensional travel and an infinite number of universes, you're gonna have an infinite number of theories, and some of them can be pretty bizarre. So in honor of Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon's brainchild, we're picking 10 most outlandish Rick and Morty theories on the internet. Starting with number 10, Rick planned to kill Morty in Season 3. Redditor Job and Blue pointed to the moment just after Morty stole Rick's portal gun. Morty took Beth, Summer, and Jerry to a cabin to hide from Rick, who was wreaking havoc at the White House. Now at the time, Beth guessed that Rick wanted to kill her because she may or may not be a clone of herself, but Rick clarifies that he was there to kill Jerry, not her. And here's where Job and Blue suggests that he was there to kill Morty instead, and use Jerry as a scapegoat. But why? Well, Rick had no reason to kill Blade Runner, Beth, or Jerry, but he was concerned about Morty with a portal gun. He wanted to prevent another evil Morty situation, which we know would have horrible consequences. But when he saw that everything was fine, he redirected his anger at Jerry instead. Next is number 9. Trisha is a Galactic Federation agent. What if Trisha Lang, like Summer's old pal Tammy, was sent to C-137 to spy on Rick? After Season 2, the Galactic Federation knew that they couldn't spy on the Sanchez-Smith family by getting nice and cozy with their close friends. Tammy did it once with Bird Person, and it won't work again. Instead, the Federation sent Trisha to spend time with Summer's boyfriend Ethan, and also become BFFs with Jessica, who's also Morty's crush. None of them were closely related, so she can gain info on the family without a lot of suspicion. But what's the evidence? Well, Trisha's language is a bit too sexual and vulgar, right? That's by design, because that's exactly how Tammy spoke when she was undercover too. And not that it matters, but both Trisha and Tammy are voiced by the same actor. We know it doesn't mean much, but anything's possible in Rick and Morty's world. Coming in at number 8, the Morty we know isn't the real one. This little bit comes from a larger master theory created by Redditor Rickest Rick, but Tumblr user Sneaky Feats added in a few interesting details. According to Sneaky Feats, Rick's original Morty was abandoned inside one universe. We've seen this during the opening credits of each episode, when Morty falls and is nearly killed by the frog creatures. He gets left behind and grows to hate Rick. Later, in close Rick counters of the Rick kind, the resentful Morty orchestrates the events to take down all the Ricks in all the universes. And, in the Ricklantis mix-up, this is exactly what happens. Politician Morty becomes President Morty and gets addicted to power. Turns out, he's evil Morty and orders the assassination of the Shadow Council of Ricks. But here's the kicker. It's not just any evil Morty. It's the same Morty who was abandoned 10 years ago. Now, for number 7. The Rick we know isn't the real one either. This one's even more plausible, considering Rick could actually do it. The theory goes that the original Rick killed himself when Beth was a kid, explaining why he went missing for over 20 years. So how'd he come back? Well, another Rick in a different universe royally messed up his own timeline and needed a quick fix. So he found the universe where Rick committed suicide and jumped into the timeline we've all been watching. He got rid of the original corpse and re-entered Beth's life. Yeah, that's not horrifying at all. At number 6, Baby Cronenberg is Baby Morty. We'll start with this Redditor Hebrew Hammer TN's notes on Rick's happiness. If you notice, he's only truly happy or fulfilled with humanity with Baby Morty. There's a photo of young Rick holding a baby Morty and smiling. There was even a moment where Rick cried when he was reminiscing about Morty's baby years. So what if that creepy Cronenberg creature in autoerotic assimilation is Baby Morty, but from a different dimension? The theory claims that in another universe, something went wrong on a global scale. Everyone and everything got Cronenberged, including Baby Morty. Rick's original Baby Morty, the one he's holding in the photo and cries about, was the one who got Cronenberged. In order to find a cure, Rick put him in suspended animation, but unfortunately, he realized that euthanasia was the only cure to save the creature. So as a final act of mercy, Rick euthanized the Cronenberg creature, which we now realize is just heartbreaking. Coming up at number 5, the secret of the universe is ice cream? When there's a universe-ending catastrophe, nothing helps quite like a scoop of Gloppy Drop's best ice cream. Tumblr user A Whole Croissant claims that Rick and Morty's answer to life's most complex question is ice cream. How? Let's look at Anatomy Part, where Rick's trying to cure his dying friend. He sends Morty to help Dr. Xenon Bloom, but obviously, the whole plan fails. So Dr. Bloom, an amoeba living inside a dying man, accepts his fate and wants ice cream to be his last meal. He dies, but at least he's happy with his final meal. We've also seen Jerry spending serious cash on Cold Stone Creamery, which becomes the godsend cuisine that helps him and Beth save a deer. More importantly, Rick tells Morty that he's gonna go get ice cream from the Gloppy Drop system, which is a metaphor for heading somewhere safe and comfortable. He's even said that ice cream is is why they do what they do. It's a deliciously cool theory, and one that we totally agree with. Up next is number 4. Unity is Beth's real mom. There are a lot of nuances to this theory, but here's the brass tacks version. Rick was mentally, physically, and sexually connected with Unity. This led to a fling, which led to one of Unity's Earth-like humanoid hosts getting pregnant. Now, Unity left Rick, but not before detaching itself from the host who got pregnant. That explains why the host found it hard to raise a kid. She's always been under the influence of Unity, and had never been truly herself or connected with a human. It could also explain why she forced Rick to leave so she could raise the kid on her own. And that's why Unity was so protective of Morty and Summer when they visited it on its planet. It showered them with burgers and sent a special team to rescue them when they're in danger. Since Unity is Beth's real mom, its maternal instincts kick in to protect Morty and Summer. It's not just because they're Rick's grandkids, it's because they're its grandkids too. In third place, it's the Google Box conundrum. Rick and Morty fan Jimmy White posted a simple question on his Facebook. What if fidget spinners are just another version of the Google Box, and we're powering some scientist's battery? And to support the theory, fans on Reddit pointed to the Rick's Must Be Crazy episode. Rick reveals to Morty that the battery powering his ship is actually a microverse, and that the people in it step on a Google Box to generate electricity. The people don't know they're powering some dude's ship. They're just doing it out of habit, the same way they've been using fidget spinners or doing insane TikTok challenges. So, what if we're just like the microverse that powers Rick's ship, except we're the microverse that powers some scientist's trimmer or something? At number 2, it's the Call of Cthulhu. We found out in Season 5 that Rick engineered the central finite curve to make sure he was the smartest man in any reality on the curve. It seems like a roundabout way to stroke your own ego, but what if he's protecting the curve from something terrifying outside it? What if the only way to protect the realities he loves is to restructure the universe to keep Cthulhu at bay? We've seen a glimpse of it chasing Rick and company in the opening credits already, but we still need a full episode. In H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu, Cthulhu's an old god that used to rule Earth, and its presence was said to melt the minds of anyone who had knowledge of it. So in order to protect his genius, Rick engineered the curve, making sure Cthulhu stays outside its boundaries for as long as possible. Finally, number 1, Rick knows he's on TV. We know Rick's uncanny ability to break the fourth wall, but what if he knows that we're watching him? So get this, Rick's got a photo hanging on his wall, and if you look carefully, it sorta looks like Dan Harmon, one of the show's co-creators. You'd think it's a hilarious Easter egg, but only a genius like Rick would become so self-aware that he'd realize that Dan's one of his creators or gods. That's why Rick is so Rick. He doesn't fear the consequences because he'll just see you guys next week. Get it? But even more hilariously, he builds a tiny robot just to pass him butter. When the robot questions his purpose, Rick says that it's just to pass butter. The robot has an existential crisis, and Rick says, "Welcome to the club." So yeah, he's totally aware he's on a show, and he knows his purpose is to keep entertaining us. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for watching. So which theory do you think is more plausible? Tell us down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more Rick and Morty content. See you in the next one.